Why God does not distinguish? He says, because they are all His very own. There was once an ultra-rich billionaire. He was very fond of art. And along with his son, they used to go and visit art galleries. And the father had acquired a wonderful collection for himself. The son, out of his choice, entered the army. The country got into a war with the neighboring country. In the war, his son got killed. The billionaire had great regret. Nevertheless, these things have no solution. Time is the biggest healer. With time, he was able to overcome it, but he was now about to die. So, one man had come to him, a soldier, and offered a painting of his son. The billionaire asked for an explanation. That soldier said, I was wounded in the war and lying on the battlefield. Your son came to save me. And in the process, I was saved, but he suffered a fatal wound and passed away. So I am indebted to your son for my very life. I have made a portrait of his as best I could remember. I am not much of a painter, but this is my gift to you in honor of your son. The billionaire was so touched by it. He loved the painting with all its memories. In his will before passing away, he wrote that let my art collection be auctioned as I have explained. The auction was announced. Great art collectors from around the world gathered to get whatever they could with the biddings. The auctioneer, he said, we shall begin with a simple painting. And he showed the painting of the billionaire's son. And he said, this is not much of a painting. We have given a minimum starting bid of $100. Is anybody interested? One person got up and said, you know, it's a very simple painting. But I knew that boy, and out of honor for him, I am willing to put $100 bid on this. The auctioneer said, is anybody willing to go beyond? There was nobody else. They said, sold. Now the people said, what about all the other paintings? And the auctioneer said, they are not going to be auctioned because the billionaire had said, whoever gets the painting of my son should be given all the paintings. That is how much he loved his son. Now, a worldly billionaire loves his child so much. God naturally loves his devotees infinitely more because his capacity for love is so much more. And that is why if somebody is engaging in devotion, in selfless niskam ananya bhakti of the Lord, that soul belongs to the Lord. And the Lord knows how to reciprocate with the same amount and even more love. So that is why the world may reject devotees, but in the case of God, there is never any scope for such a thing. That is why we have so many such instances. You know the story of Kanakadas. People have heard it so often. His name was actually Thimmappa Nayakan. He used to live in today's Karnataka, and he is one of the saints of the Dasa Sampradaya. He was a disciple of a great guru called Vyasa Tirth, who came in the Madhva tradition. These devotees of the Dasa Sampradaya, they would just go around singing bhajans on the street. So when he arrived at the famous Udupi Sri Krishna temple, he was prohibited from darshan because the priests felt that he belonged to a lower caste. So Kanakadas, he was so eager to see his Lord that when he was denied darshan, he felt completely disturbed. He went to the back of the temple, and out there he began crying with all his might that, "My Lord, am I not qualified even to look at you? I've heard you are causelessly merciful. You accepted the elephant Gajaraj. You saved Draupadi in the assembly of the Kauravas. You saved devotees wherever they cried out to you. I am crying out to you with bhakti because that is all I have got, my Lord." And it's a true story that the wall itself collapsed and the deity spun around to give him darshan. Subsequently, the wall did get constructed back, but they left a window there from where Kanakadas had darshan, and it is famous as the Kanakanakindi. But the interesting thing about the temple is that when you go to the temple, when you enter, you see the back of the deity. Because the deity spun around, what could all the architects do? So, the message from God is given again and again and again. You know, the most popular bhajan writer of Jagannath in history has been Salabeg. So Salabeg was a Muslim by birth. The story goes, there was a Subidar under Aurangzeb called Lal Beg. And when his army attacked Odisha, Lal Beg kidnapped a Brahman girl and took her as his wife and forcibly converted her to Islam. But she continued to worship Jagannath. And the child born was Salabeg. She instilled in him as well bhakti towards Jagannath. Subsequently, Lal Beg became Subidar in Kolkata under Mirza Afzal Beg. And by then, Salabeg had grown up and he called him over to join in the army. In the battle, the father, Lal Beg, died and Salabeg was badly wounded. His mother prayed and prayed, and by the grace of Jagannath and a saint, Salabeg recovered. So he became now a great devotee of Jagannath himself. He went to stay in Jagannath Puri, but the priests out there disliked him because by birth he was a Mohammedan. They did not care for his devotion. Receiving such an unwelcome out there, he went off to Vrindavan. In Vrindavan, he started staying with the saints. His devotion got further nurtured. Now he wanted to join the Rath Yatra of Jagannath Ji. And all the way from Vrindavan he came walking. In between he fell sick, etc. And that delayed his arrival. The Rath had already begun. So usually the Rath Yatra, it's either completed over one day, or if one day does not suffice, then the chariots stop overnight. At sunset they stop, and next day the journey continues. In this case, the chariots, they moved a little and just refused to move. So they stopped exactly at the place where he had built his hut when he used to reside in Jagannath Puri. The chariots came till there, stopped there, and refused to move. So Jagannath Ji's Leela is very interesting. Even now when he is brought down from time to time, he stops moving. So the chariots were just immobile. No matter how much power was applied, there was no scope of moving them. Jagannath is the master of the universe. So imagine how heavy he can be if he chooses to be. Finally, when Salbeg arrived, now the king was told that you have to ask him. And the king beseeched Salbeg. Salbeg began singing his famous bhajan, Ahe Neela Salila, and the chariots again moved. In memory of that event, every year when the Rath Yatra takes place, the chariot is definitely halted there for a little while. So nevertheless, now Salbeg began staying there with respect, and he asked his mother also to come and stay there. When his mother passed away, he wanted her cremated, and he went to the priests. The Bar Ponda out there, the priest said that, how dare you ask us to cremate her? So poor Salbeg was again disappointed. And he had to arrange for her own cremation, but nevertheless, his bhajans became legendary and they are sung even till today. So Narad Ji explains that why God does not distinguish between devotees, because he says they are his very own. Aho vatashvapachoto gariyanyajjihvagre vartate nam tubhyam te pustapaste juhuvuhu sasnurarya brahmanuchurnam na grihnantiyete. This famous verse from the Bhagavatam states that even if somebody is born as a Shwapach in a family of dog eaters, even if somebody's birth is like that, if they are taking the name of God on their lips with joy and pleasure, they should be considered glorious. It is their past punya that has resulted in this faith in the name of God. And they should be considered to have performed all kinds of pious austerities, etc. This is the exalted position of Bhakti.